Hi, and a very warm welcome to all of you. Thank you for joining me for our very short seminar sessions on an introduction to mindful music making. We'll be starting off today with a warm-up and a couple of exercises for you to carry on into your own personal practice. There are some notes which I've written which accompany each day's videos, and it'd be really useful if you could read those before you come back to the second session tomorrow. You might want to take a couple of seconds to read them just now before we carry on, so feel free to press the pause button. As musicians, I think for me one of the most incredible things is the amount we have to do, we have to process, we have to multitask, and it can be quite stressful. One of my biggest things with my own students is that we forget to breathe. I think string players in particular can forget to breathe because it's not one of the things that we would naturally think about. And when we think about the music and the phrasing that we have to do, breathing is so important so we can convey the essence of what we're trying to do. So some breathing exercises really help our focus and our attention as well. The root of mindfulness is in fact rooted in breathing. It's about staying present, being non-judgmental, being focused, and we can come on to those points a little bit later and indeed in the accompanying notes. Because these experiences are best learnt about through doing rather than reading, we're going to get straight into the first exercise, and this is just a little warm-up for you. I'm sitting down for this exercise. If you so wish, you can sit down. You can lie down on the floor. You can be as comfortable as you want, but just get into the place which is absolutely the most comfortable for you. Hope you're nice and comfy now. And what we're going to do is we're going to start with a very quick 30-second breathing exercise. And this is just to highlight, if you like, the amount of things that our brain processes within a 30-second time frame. So if we could just sit very quietly, close your eyes if you wish, and just for 30 seconds try and have nothing in your head at all, nothing in your mind. So that's our 30 seconds. Just having a very quick think back. How much stuff popped into your head during that 30 seconds? For me, I'll give you an example. I'm counting up to 30, so I know I've got 30 seconds. I was aware of all sorts of stuff just kind of like popping in and taking over. So to get the most out of mindful music rehearsal, mindful music practice, to get the most out of our lessons and our performance experience, we're going to turn our attention now to our breathing. And the first exercise, the warm-up exercise, is rooted in breathing. We're going to start off by just taking a few deep breaths in and out, and a deeper breath in and out. Now this time, as you're breathing in and out, continue with your breathing as I'm talking. I'd like you just to notice your breath as it rises in and as you breathe out. And keep following your breath. That's the essential thing. Follow your breath. Don't think about anything else, just your breathing. Let's try that again for 30 seconds and just notice your breathing. Notice how you breathe in. Notice what happens to you physically as you breathe in and as you breathe out. So sitting as comfortably as you can, please, for another 30 seconds, only thinking about your breathing. Breathing in and out. All the time following your breath. Here we go. So that was our next 30 seconds. If you had other things popping into your head, that's absolutely fine. We have to practice this. We have to practice breathing exercises every day to begin to maintain our focus. And it's absolutely all right if things just popped in. Very interesting as you carry on with these little exercises to see how much less these pop-up thoughts become. And in turn, those really help us to maximise our practice time. I'd like, if you would please, over the next few days of this summer school, to have 30 seconds of just complete nothingness and focusing on your breathing before you start your practice. And let's see how that goes. We'll move on to the next exercise in just a second. This next exercise focuses on our hearing and sounds. It's to do with identifying distance, which can be incredibly useful if we walk into a new acoustic and we don't know how it's going to go. It can be incredibly useful if we're actually just trying to really hone in and listen to our own sound and our own selves and to what we're doing. So again, get yourselves as comfortable as you can. You can sit down comfortably, you can lie down, it's not a problem. However you feel comfy, please get into that comfortable position. And we're going to start focusing on sounds now. So just to begin with, a few lovely big breaths in and out. All the time, just really following your breath in as it travels through your body and out, allowing your shoulders to relax, your hands to be comfortably seated on your lap. They could be resting, they could be by your side, but relaxing your shoulders, relaxing our neck muscles, our heads. So as you carry on practicing your breathing and thinking about your breathing, please turn your attention to sounds which you can hear close to you. It could be the sound of my voice on the video. It could be sounds which are close by to you. How close are those sounds to you? Can you identify how close those sounds are? Can you feel the distance between the sounds and your breathing? Always staying with your breath, following it in and out. Now let's turn our attention to sounds which are far away from you. What's the furthest away sound you can hear? Staying with your breath, breathing in, breathing out. How far away is that sound? Does it have a pitch? Can you imagine a note attached to it? And if so, where might that sound be found on your instrument? And staying with your breath. And now return to sounds which are very close to you. Maybe sounds which are inside you. If you're doing this exercise close to when you're about to have your dinner, have you got a tummy rumble, that sort of thing. Any sort of sound you can hear which is close to you. Staying with your breath. And once more with the sounds which are very close to you. Do they have a pitch? And if so, could you imagine where that sound might lie on your instrument? So a few more breaths in and out. Keeping our shoulders relaxed, our hands and our fingers relaxed, our neck muscles relaxed. And if we begin to slowly open our eyes or slowly begin to sit up, and we'll get ready for the next exercise. The final exercise we'll do, which will start in a couple of minutes, needs you to get a piece of sheet music which you're currently studying. I'd like it to have something in it which you find really easy and you're really kind of on top of and you love playing and you're completely settled with it. And I'd like you to find a bit of music. It could be the same piece or another piece that you think, oh, there's some challenging moments in that. So have a few seconds, find yourself a bit of sheet music, and I'll see you shortly. Hi again. So hopefully you've now got a bit of music with you that we can use for this next practical exercise. I'd like you to sit comfortably so you can still breathe, and that so you can see your music as we do this exercise. First of all, may you please find a bit on the page which you absolutely love. You're completely into playing it, you have no problems with it, and you know that when you stand up and perform this, it's going to feel fantastic. So please find that for me just now. As we do this exercise, we're going to get into the habit of always starting with just a little bit of breathing. So we'll start by breathing in and out. And as we're practicing our breathing, let's become much more aware of our relaxed shoulders, relaxed neck, relaxed facial muscles as well. Everything that goes on from our shoulders and up to our heads today. So let's really think about those muscle groups. So we're breathing in and breathing out, really relaxing everything. Now what I'd like you to do is find a short passage, go back to the short passage, which you've identified as being, you are super confident with this. And what I'd like you to do is just using your thinking voice, imagining it through in your mind, whilst reading the page and staying with your breathing. So we're reading it through as if we're reading a book, and all the time we're thinking, breathing, breathing. So staying with your breath, imagine the notes, imagine yourself playing it and everything that goes with that. Imagine the physicality of playing it. What are the technical things you have to do? How does it feel? How is the phrase? Begin to really immerse yourself as if you're doing a performance in your own mind whilst reading this sheet of music. So breathing in and out in your own pace, reading this music through. Staying with your breath, a place where you are completely confident. Well done. If you can imagine now, think back, how did it feel when you were reading this piece through? You're completely immersed in it and thinking about your breath. Did you drift away at all? Did you forget to breathe? I'd like you to try it again and don't forget to breathe. Try it again. If you forgot to breathe, don't forget to breathe. Stay with your breath all the way through and really enjoy being completely in control and loving this piece of music which we're doing. Whatever you do, stay with your breath. So, same passage, but the last time we're going to do it. And what I'd like you to try this time, staying with your breath, so your breathing becomes the most important thing. And if you like, the music which you're reading on your page and imagining almost becomes background. If you like a backing track somewhere in the distance of your mind. So we're going to really practice the breathing in, breathing out, and our breathing becomes the absolutely most important thing, and the music is playing like a background noise. Moving on now to a passage which maybe you find a little bit more challenging. I'd like you to find a bit where you think, actually, I'm not quite confident with this particular bit. I'd like you to find that passage, please. What we're going to do now is the same thing. I'd like us to start off by reading it through, just imagining it in our minds, without focusing on breathing. Staying with the same passage, ask yourself a few questions. Did you notice any tension creeping into your body when you're reading that passage through, a bit that you're not comfortable with? I'd like you to try it again, and this time making the breathing the most important thing that you do. So we're reading it through, we might be coming to a bit that's super high or super challenging with a double stop, and I'd like you to imagine yourself playing it, hearing it, all the physical things that go with it, but stay with your breath whilst you're reading it from the sheet of paper, imagining the sounds, imagining all the physicality that goes with it, but the breathing is the most important thing. So I have the same question for you. When you were reading the passage that felt more challenging, did you stick with your breathing? If we practice this every day and we find something that we do find a challenge and go back, always return to staying with our breath, we have fantastic grounding and comfort from that, and it can help us return to being able to give the best rendition that we can, whether we're in our lessons or whether we're in a performance situation, an exam, whatever it might be. Staying with our breath is vital. And if we just think for seconds what happens if we did see something on the page and we're reading it through, did you notice any tension? Did maybe you notice shoulders tensing because we didn't like what was coming up? We had a fear, we had a trepidation of it. By staying with our breath and returning to our breath if we drift away, we can really help maintain our body-mind coordination, relaxation and balance. So just to finish with, let's go back to the bit that we did first, which is reading something on the page where we're completely confident, completely comfortable, and we know we can do it to the best of our abilities. And let's just, if you like, make a personal balance between what we know we can do comfortably and staying in control with our breath, and that which we know we're not quite there with, and the work that we need to do to stay calm and to stay focused so we can make the bit we're not so comfortable with as good as the bit that we know we are really comfortable with. So going back to the bit now where we know we feel super confident and super comfortable. A few deep breaths in and out. I'm beginning to read your music, imagining it in your mind. You're confident, you're serene, you're loving being immersed on the stage. You can really do this bit super, super well in a relaxed, confident and communicative way. Staying with your breath as you hear it through. Feel the music, feel everything that we have to do to make this bit really shine, to make it sing. In closing, when we notice, and just notice, the physical changes which can happen in us when we're really trying to do our best, we can achieve an awful lot without worry and without panic and without stress. Breathing is such an important thing. If we stay focused and with our breath our mind becomes free and we can achieve so much more. I look forward to seeing you tomorrow. Have a lovely day.